Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, your YouTube channel dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of advanced tactics. Today again we have another one of our freestyle series. These series are largely shot live where I'm just sort of narrating on the go, and we encounter unique and interesting battles that I think it's worthwhile showing you some interesting tactics to try in those situations. Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of field tactics. I say this often as I approach a battle, as in this case again, this is another one of our freestyle episodes where I am filming live as I sort of play the game. I'm not streaming yet, I don't know if I'll ever do that, but in some cases I am simply recording as I play. I find this a little bit more difficult to really narrate beautifully well and play the game beautifully well, but I am getting better the more I do this. I imagine that's necessary if I'm going to stream live someday. Now, so obviously this is an enormous challenge we're facing here again. Almost 5,000 troops with our 1,600 sturdy warriors, and it's an interesting battlefield. There's a lot of potential different tactics we can try here. I don't know if I can reach this upper elevated left area or right area. So what about some Crossfire here? I haven't done this tactic too much, especially on these freestyle series. Crossfire is effectively where you split your army, you create an area in between there where the enemy is likely to attack one of your two targets, and then of course you pound the enemy with Crossfire, hence the name. We're going to stick archers up here on this high ridge, and we'll give them support, probably try to barricade them in there a little bit with some heavy cav screens, and then on the opposite side I have archers and a cav wall. I have 7 guys in the 1st infantry, and then we'll put the 6th and 8th corps. I think we'll end up putting the 6th and 8th corps over here on the right. Just configured some of my units here, and into battle we go. I've had a couple battles like this lately. In fact, to be perfectly honest, the last battle I had like this, it ended in disaster. I got dismounted pretty early on, right in the midst of the enemy, and knocked unconscious, and we retreated. But we're back in this episode with full health. Hopefully we can record something that's worthwhile. I haven't shown this tactic very much on the channel. You can see I have 2 distinct armies, right? Let me show you here a little closer. I've done this a few times at the request of some people. I'm still working on getting RTS, the real-time strategy mod that allows you to sort of play overhead. But as you can see, I have a division up there, kind of with archers, and then one down in the valley sort of opposing it. Now, it's likely that I'm going to draw more attention to that top area because the AI tends to give preference to the mass amount of troops. So what I want to do here is I want to try to jam this area up with a big line of heavy cav. This is 30. I got 34 guys here in the 2nd cav. I didn't mean to jump off my horse there. And all I want to do is jam these guys right at the edge of this little ridge. I don't know if you can see that little ridge. It's a lot more evident when you're sort of down below it. But this is a little bit of a variation of a Crossfire with a peekaboo ridge. A peekaboo ridge is a tactic I've been developing for a little while, where you have the enemy coming over a short or a steep ridge, with the idea being as soon as they come over that ridge, they're pounded. You see we're outnumbered 3 to 1. It seemed like it was actually worse than 3 to 1 from the campaign screen. There we go. We'll just wipe out the banner guy right away here. So tactically, again, the idea with the peekaboo ridge is we want the enemy to come over that and face absolutely annihilating fire from our archers. Where the fuck are these guys? They got a bunch of Manavliatons just bolting ahead. Maybe they're so eager to kill us. Well, you can end on your face like that guy. Looks like I've got my javelin skill throwing back. I've been fiddling around with a couple new mice, I guess, mices. Because I had some real difficulty with javelins there for many episodes, and I finally got a little more comfortable mouse. Now look at them jamming up here. All right, so this is ideal. The horses are dying, and they're getting they're getting in the way of the riders. You see, they're like trying to jump over. It looks hilarious. I don't know if I'll be able to focus while I'm laughing so hard. Their heavy cav is just pouring over this ridge. And not only are they being shot with withering arrow fire, but they're like leaping All their cavalry is just sort of like leaping over the ridge. And that was pretty much it for that. They have 2 pockets of heavy cav, or is that horse archers? I assigned my horse archers to attack the other one over there. I can't tell if that was both heavy cav units, but they're all jammed up here on my units. It's working beautifully, and my job here effectively is to try to just continue this block. Right, they're getting crossfire. Anybody that's out in the valley there, any enemy forces are in a bad way. But I just want to sort of make this a toll bridge that is more than they can pay to get through. I can sort of target guys here and just sit back and let this this tactic go to work. You see the arrow fire raining over these guys. I'm going to actually bring them in a little bit, allow them to get a little closer, which just means they're going to get pounded even worse with arrows. Look at that. It's 300 guys still in their... I'm sorry, 219 in their vanguard. So it's still a very fierce foe here, but we're going to attack with our cav, 1st, 6th, and 8th Corps. And with how much they've already probably been weakened by archers, I think we should be able to put down this very tough vanguard. Also, you notice the Peekaboo Ridge is functioning. The other big benefit of it, you don't see any arrow fire from the enemy, right? It's because they're on the other side of that ridge. You can kill these banner bearers just left and right. See them out there? I don't want to really go far over to their side because now I can see the arrows flying in on me. So we want to stay on this side of the ridge, right? That's the advantage of the Peekaboo Ridge. So I'm going to continuously sort of recall my troops. Oh shit. I'm going to continuously fuck you for trying to hit me in the head. I got a javelin for you. I'll keep my troops on this side if I can, and we're just going to maintain this position until the enemy changes tactics, or we kill every single one of these motherfuckers. Long-time subscribers know, of course, that you know, sometimes we do a little bit of swearing. A career in the military and fire service, and I have a bit of a foul mouth. But we will use it for impact and influence, not influence, emphasis. Not to like. These guys charging in again. These suicidal Monopoliatons. Get out of here. Anyways, we will use it tastefully. Okay, another push of the enemy here. It's holding pretty well now. This is just like the remnant of their troops. They got like a handful of infantry that are hell-bent on joining their friends. Well, we'll help them. This stubborn fuck. Yeah, I got a better Monopoliaton. I got some... It looks like I've got infantry up there chasing. I can't really tell. I don't mind pursuing a little bit here because their archers look like they pulled back, but you don't want, in this Peekaboo Ridge scenario, if you're practicing this scenario in your own campaign, one of the biggest keys is troop control. You want to be able to attack with your troops, but then pull them back quickly. Right? You can't afford for them to be marching off over the ridge against the enemy because that defeats the whole purpose of the strategy. I want to essentially use the cover fire, the protective covering fire of this best shield of all, right? This big ridge of granite we're just going to hide behind. It's been used age-long by troops, right? Whether it was, you know, some epic famous battle. Your horse, dude. Thanks. Or whether it was, you know, World War II or whatever, hiding behind sand dunes. It's been used forever, right? You use terrain to cover. We put these horse archers a whipping too. Their main force must be regrouping because I don't see any infantry or archers. There's like a handful of these skirmishing idiots which we can behead, and we can work on some of these horse archers. Mangled that guy with a jumping spike. But I don't, they must be regrouping. Yeah, okay, now I start to see their number. Well, we're going to focus on their troops while they're here, right? This is a good example of fighting your enemy in detail. I sent off this, these archers, I sent off their cav corps, so I've got to kind of get in here and repel this enemy cav. Oh, the enemy has another huge force coming. Okay, 400, is that 400 archers? Yeah, it's 400 archers. And a lot of those guys, of course, haven't, they're from the original original tranche of enemy troops, right? Those are going to be the highest level archers, because at this stage, none of their archers have really seen a lot of combat, right? These fucking little tiny trees, man, I tell you what. This guy's, actually that reminds me, this guy's father was actually killed in a battle on this battlefield by one of those little fucking trees. So I was, you know, late in the game, late in a really nasty battle. I think at some point or other I'll probably post it. Originally it was one of the videos where I just had text and we weren't doing voiceover yet. Anyways, his father ran into one of those trees late in the battle and then took a crossbow right between the eyes. Ended up killing the guy. Gregor, this guy's father. And I have a significant hatred for these little tiny trees. Of course, in real life, of course, you know, your warhorse would just run right over that. There's no question. That would not impede a warhorse. So when a tactic is working this beautifully, right, I'm looking around, I just see the corpses of the enemy's elite vanguard. We're not going to change tactics unless something dramatically happens. Now they are firing arrows in. It looks like they've found a way to get a little line of sight on us. And so we'll have to see if that gets worse. But at this stage, we are just going to wait. I'm going to sit here and watch. The enemy now has stretched their archers out into a big long line. That's probably why they have some line of sight. But they're not really, it's not like they're killing guys left and right, right? If that was the case, I'd be adjusting. I'm not worried about a few arrows getting in. In fact, in some cases, it can be beneficial, because what happens is your troops will simply pick up all the arrows, all the arrows that miss, right? It can actually give you ammunition. Yeah, so I see they're kind of able to shoot the guys here at the top of the ridge. Not too concerned about that at this stage. Every once in a rare while, I have a battle like this where unfortunately I don't record it, I don't share it, I don't upload it with the channel. Look at all these arrows. Pick up these fucking arrows, dude. What are you guys, snobs? I wonder if they're bolts. They might be bolts. And the Britannian Fiend chaps, of course, they need arrows. That's the only reason why they wouldn't pick them up. Well, we might as well fire, at least. If they're able to hit us, I guess we can do a little range exchange here. Oh shit, here comes their vanguard. Or at least another big infantry tranche. Alright, so we're going to prepare a similar strategy. This time, though, I'm going to send Cav out in the field here. We'll do a little hammer and anvil. Basic age-old strategy where you have the enemy attack you, you have cavalry sort of positioned to the side or back of the enemy, and then you have them charge in. So we can open fire on these fucks again here. I'm sure we have some arrows left to just annihilate these guys. I've got a line of cav there and a shield wall. I just called my other cav division, and we're going to go in here and support. Once that cav is close, we'll have them attack with our 1st, 6th, and 8th. You're dead! Alright, they're in. It's time to kill everything that moves. It's a highly unique battlefield. I can't remember ever like playing on a situation where I had to like jump down from a high ridge to attack the enemy. The enemy's either reforming or routing here. I mean, they're not routing, of course. It's early in this battle, but they seem very confused about what to do. They're kind of running forward, running backwards. They're trying to defend themselves, but they can't get archer support, right? That's the advantage of the Peekaboo Ridge. Now, in some situations, the enemy archers will approach the ridge. They will try to come over, and they will try to shoot from this ridge. Well, that's actually a death sentence for them. It's even worse than infantry. Oh shit. Fuck you. I have a personal hatred for Manabliatons too. I've had a couple beautiful battles where I got fucking like 2-shot by a Manabliaton and wasn't able to record the battle. Of course, it auto-played. But the point is if archers come over this ridge, they're killed actually worse. These guys are coming over in melee. They're either out of bolts or they've just decided, fuck it, we can't see the enemy, we attack. I gotta get that cav division out of danger. But if archers do try to come over that ridge and shoot, I actually have an episode that I posted a little while ago. I think it's called Give Up the High Ground. And if you want to know more about the Peekaboo Ridge, I highly recommend it. It's sort of a textbook example of massacring the enemy on a ridge line. And at one stage, they have, it's a lot of Landian forces. They have like, so this is what's difficult. I'm trying to manage my forces here and tell a story. They have like maybe 100 crossbowmen right on the ridge, and they get absolutely shredded by our archers. Right there, you can see they're all trying to reload. I zoom in a little bit. You can see them all taking 5 arrows right to the face, and it's an amazing massacre. It really showcases the power of this Peekaboo Ridge strategy. There's not really an analog to this, like to history. I am doing sort of a historical analog series. They're overrunning us here. We're gonna have to retreat. This force that accumulated. I would imagine what happened is they just piled up troops on the other side of the ridge. Of course, I wasn't watching super close. Holy fuck! I gotta get out of here. Okay, we're gonna have to. These guys are toast. They basically just cruised through. I've got a handful of guys left for my 6th and 8th Corps, but that was quite the counter assault there by the enemy. I mean, again, you have to remember we're outnumbered 3 to 1 or worse. So my reinforcements are coming in. It seems like a smaller round of reinforcements. What is this? 70. It's like 100 and... I don't know why it's so few reinforcements, and the enemy is already hot on our pursuit. This is problematic. All we're going to be able to do with these 2 different divisions, because there's really just 2 different divisions, and I have a handful of guys in the 8th Corps. I'm going to be able to set up an archer line with some elevation, and then a shield wall infantry. I don't have a lot of tactical options here with basically 2 divisions. I still see some guys left from the 8th Corps. Our 8th Corps, people don't know, I try to explain it every so often, is basically a group where we put all of our most elite companions and family members. Oh, that was a good counter there, by the way. We put all our elite counter, now I'm talking 3 different things at once, all of our elite family members into one group, and then we use them kind of like Napoleon did with his old guard, or other generals, famous generals through time have used sort of an imperial or reserve guard, right? We use them sometimes in a last-ditch effort to turn a battle. Other times we'll use them to really puncture an enemy line and make a decisive strike. So, yeah, okay, so there's more reinforcements. I was about to start getting upset there. They can't. The system seems to be giving us too few reinforcements. I mean, I realize we're outnumbered 3 to 1, but it gave us like 100 reinforcements, and our infantry line was just instantly massacred. So one of the things I like to do in battles like this, where it feels like the enemy is just an unstoppable tide, is I'll pull back. You see me pulling back almost to the very edge of the map. In fact, at some point, we may put troops all the way up on that high ridge, right? It's a nice high spot. They'll be able to shoot further. They'll be relatively protected from the enemy. I mean, if the enemy reaches that point, you know, we've lost. That means they've overrun our lines all the way to the very end of the map. But I'll be able to stretch. I have a very few amount of infantry. So I can stretch out a small infantry line in front here and get archers behind them, but I have almost no cavalry and no other real tactical options here. Anyways, it does seem like I have, you know, 6, 7, 8 guys of the 8th Corps left. We're going to be able to use them at times. Yeah, these guys follow in here. Okay, so I have 10 guys in the 8th Corps. Those guys are definitely going to be useful in this battle, but a lot of them at this stage are also probably injured, pretty significantly injured. Alright, give my archers a nice spread here. They have almost 400 troops coming at us here, and we have, you know, about 200, and I imagine they have more coming behind it. We do have elevation though here. We do have a strong line of infantry, so now it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to use the angles on these slopes to get the maximum effect from these archers. Obviously, I also have to protect them. So what we're going to do in this instance is see if the enemy will bite on a square. I'm going to move a square off to the left. And then I think, that's this rock right here. I think if we can use this rock on the right here, I'm going to position my 8th Corps. See how the enemy is sort of magnetized to the square right there. They're attacking the infantry. Oh, this is bad. Kill those fuckers. I've got, the troops are coming around the rock already. I want to attack one side or the other. Let's do right here. This is going to work better. I just sent my 8th Corps in here to attack. All these guys are getting hit with arrows. Their infantry is distracted and running off, chasing after our infantry block, so I kind of have these guys to ourselves. And I can kind of fight with these guys because, oh shit, well, that's a problem. There's more behind me. Because they're getting pounded by arrows, right? All those archers up there have a free shot on all these guys chasing me, right? You see them getting hit. They're trying to attack me and they're getting smoked in the face. Need a shield. Alright, so I can send my 8th Corps. God, my 8th Corps is down to 4 people already. So I'm switching from a square to a shield wall because the infantry line isn't immolated. They probably got shot to death. Now we can have them charge and I can charge in with. This is a pretty nasty combo here. I've got enfilade fire with my archers and I'm going to fucking wade in here. I've got an infantry line right there that's at the front, so it's already pressuring the enemy. They're getting shot from the ridge by our archers, and I'm just going to plow through here. Sometimes I'll get really aggressive at moments like this because I know I have reinforcements behind me. I know I have that infantry behind me. So we're just going to tear down this field, rip every single one of these archers up. And again, I want my infantry down here on these archers. I physically told them to go down there, and now what I'll do is any of the troops are sort of pursuing them but here, I will kill those troops. We're bringing up our archers behind us, right? We can't lose our archer support. You see how I'm just mowing down the troops that are sort of attacking my infantry as they move. And that archer wave just melted. I mean, that was a huge amount of archers and it vaporized. Alright, so did our infantry line though. We've got 17 very tough guys. I think we may experiment with a little micro square here, a little protective square. I've got cav coming in. At this stage, we're hugely disadvantaged for cavalry. The enemy has a lot of horse, and we have like 2. There's like 2 guys in my 8th Corps, I think, still running around. Yeah, it's 2 guys. So I'm going to sit in this square, and frankly, at this stage, I'm waiting for the archers to spread out so they can shoot. But we don't have enough infantry really to attack anything. We have like 15 guys here. I'm just going to sit in this safe, protective square. And frankly, I'm waiting for reinforcements. I need more infantry than 17 to do anything. This would be like that cooking show where they give you like 4 ingredients and they're all fucking worthless, bubble gum and spaghetti sauce, and they're like, all right, make a gourmet meal. It's a little bit like this situation here. The game can't really give me, 190 archers and 12 infantry and expect me to be able to do anything. Of course, the system itself doesn't care. I guess what I'm referring to is tail worlds. It's either bad programming or our army is hugely unbalanced and has way too many archers. I know my own group tends to favor archers. I have no cavalry following me. I tend to have a lot. I'm just going to have to be a one-man heavy cav unit here. We're just going to have to kill as many of these cavalry as we can, because obviously these guys are highly disruptive to our archers. They're running through, they're spearing guys non-stop. These guys can't get a shot off. If I can just kill some of them, right? Oh shit. A bunch of archers coming in. Okay, so I'm going to use these archers offensively here. What I can do is I can shield wall these archers and basically attack with them. If the game's not going to give me infantry, I don't really have a whole lot of choice. At least these archers have nice big shields. Oh, and here comes reinforcements behind them. Thank God. I mean, what the fuck? How the fuck long was that delay? So it's suboptimal, but these guys are doing some decent work. The sharpshooters and whatnot, these guys are definitely capable of some melee. We don't have any Battanian Fiends or Fiend champs left. Those got wiped out in that first assault. But these guys are still going to do okay. They're still facing a very large, very nasty batch of infantry, so these guys are not going to be able to keep this on. Get the fuck off of this fucking guy. Both of you fucks. Yeah, you're fucking... Die! Yeah, we're getting overrun in this battle. I do post losses on the channel, right? I like to keep the channel real, sort of authentic. Tragedy is part of life and part of Bannerlord. You're going to have some tragic losses. In this case, it feels like we're losing. The enemy's steamrolling us to the very back of the map. I'm being chased by every fucking soldier in Calradia is after me. Alright, so I've got a line now, basically of archers again, just holding their Pavis shields up. Where the fuck are the rest of my troops? I'm telling them to charge, but they're like nowhere near. And it's, yeah, so my archers are actually in melee right now. My infantry's in the back. I'm just gonna have to sacrifice some of the guys that are at the front line fighting and reform here again. That current situation will not work, having infantry behind my archers who are getting attacked. So it's a little bit of a desperation move. You see I'm losing a lot of guys just on the retreat, right? We're getting shot in the back. I'm like fall off this cliff and get killed. It's not going well for us in this stage, but I just reformed the lines. The infantry will get in front of the archers at some point, and then we can hopefully start to do some maneuvering here. You can see the death spam all of a sudden has turned to green, right? That's our heavy infantry meeting their over pursuing troops. In other games I've played, I played a game called Dark Age of Camelot, which was a massive online game kind of like this, where each of the characters on the screen was a person. And we would call that they're being overextended. Your troops, you'd get overextended, you'd have some crazy tank on your side, take these guys' heads off. You'd have some tank chase into the enemy territory, into the enemy forces way too far, and he would get massacred. When forces are overextended like that, they really are fucked. Alright, so now I have a steamroller infantry train. We're going downhill here, and I'm just going to chop the guys that end up sort of behind them. These guys are getting shot in the back from my archers, and I keep my archers following me here as we move downhill, but this is a steamroller. I have mostly archers in front of me. I'm just looking at it. There are infantry in there, but that's mostly archers. So once we cut through this infantry, this is going to be a massacre. Get these archers down here. Get the fuck down here. I got to watch my health. Obviously, if I get dropped at this stage in the battle, things are going to go badly. The AI does really bad things, and in this battle where you can see the power bar above. At every step of the way, the AI is expecting us to lose this battle. Only through good tactics are we going to be able to win. Because they have some infantry. That poor guy got surrounded. That guy got overextended, right? That was just an AI troop, and he got horribly overextended. Jesus fucking Christ, man. There must be a bounty on my head. They got fucking 20 guys chasing me this whole battle. Alright, so now we're going to actually use these archers on the flank to attack the enemy. Right, I've got infantry in front, and I just sent my archers basically right into the midst of the enemy here. Meanwhile, of course, I'm going to charge. And look at the death spam. It's all green. This is the enemy's in basically a pincher situation here, where they're being attacked hard on two sides. They're really outmatched. These fucking guys still all over me. I mean, of course, I am back here just taking their lunch money, so I guess I get it. Archers, some of the archers, when you tell them to charge, if they're kind of at the back row and they have arrows left, they'll shoot. Right? The game understands that, okay, if I'm an archer at the very back rank and we're ordered to charge, well, I don't need to charge. Right? There's like 10 guys, 20 guys ahead of me that are charging. I can just sit back. We form our lines here. That was a massacre, and it's those type of exchanges, and it's fucking shooting at me. It's those type of exchanges in battles like this where you can really make hay. What did I just pick up? I think you fucks. These are the fucks shooting at me. You fucker. Dismembered. The dismember is a mod, by the way. People ask sometimes. It's a pretty simple and cool mod. It just adds a lot of gore to the game. So in a battle like this where I'm so heavily underdogged, I'm going to have to do some things. Oh, I got a bow. That's what's going on here. It's a fucking worthless thing to be carrying around. I will pick up a bow in certain circumstances, but not right now. Outnumbered 3-to-1, right? Worse than 3-to-1. Obviously, shit, I could have taken a nasty spear there. You must consistently kill 3 or 4 of the enemies for every one of yours that dies, right? This is just math. And of course, you actually have to kill a little bit more than that, otherwise you'll get in a situation where you have, like, whoever routes first is going to win the battle. I'd like to kill as many of these cav as I can. Since the game doesn't seem intent on giving me any cav, I will have to look at some of these heroes after this battle, whether we win or lose. Now, we did attack a keep that was under siege, so we're not likely to be captured here. Every once in a while, I fuck myself in this situation. We'll lose this battle, and I'll try to retreat, and I'll do it too late. If you're going to do it, if you're going to retreat from a battle where there's a siege undergoing and the enemy is attacking, and you try to relieve the siege. By the way, look at the death spam. We do have Battanian Fiends. There are no champions left, but we do have some Battanian Fiends here on the flank. We have enfilade fire. Our infantry vanguard just melted away again. The enemy just has so many troops. It could only hold on for so long. I see a few guys over there. But we do have some pretty nasty archers over here that are raking the enemy with broadsides. Just to finish the point, if you're attacking a force that's sieging one of your castles, you have the option to leave, right? In other words, at any point, I could just literally hit retreat, and our units would just leave. It's not very realistic, right? You should at least have to like order your troops to retreat and then run to the edges of the map, sort of, so that the enemy can lay some blows on you. But nevertheless, the point is that you can pull troops back. You get more reinforcements coming in here. You can exit a siege, but you must do it early, because if you end up with 30 or 50 or 100 men after you retreat, you're going to be so encumbered. What the fuck is this? A cavalry convention up here. All right, you cav motherfuckers. Meet my fucking short axe. We're just going to chop our way through here. This quick two-handed axe I have is just a cavalry killer. It absolutely massacres any kind of cav it sees. It just chops them to pieces. It breaks their fucking shields. It cuts their horses in half. It's a murderous weapon. So the point is, and I know there's a little less drama with it, I can't really be captured in this battle unless I act stupidly. Even if we lose, you know, I'm worried that one of these falls, I'm going to suffer a bunch of health loss. Like you can even be killed. The animation's actually hilarious. If you get knocked unconscious from your horse, your body goes flying. I encourage you just to try it a few times in a battle that you're going to reload, or you're winning and you don't really care if your character eats takes a dirt nap. You should find yourself a nice big ridge, get up ahead of steam, and take a jump, and watch your character ragdoll for like 100 yards. Now I don't want to happen here. I took some damage there. I don't want it to happen here, obviously, because it'll be problematic for us trying to pull this battle out. But there is good news. I'm starting to see good news from the battlefield, so to speak. The enemy has now tier 3 troops. Tier 4, a few tier 4, but mostly tier 3. And I still see tier 5 troops in our army. We have some tier 4 as well. But the gist of that essentially is in long battles, you will eventually get a feel. I'm going to jump on a horse here to deal with these fucking heavy cav. You will gain a feel for where the enemy is, so to speak, with their forces compared to yours. Now I purposely don't. I try never to look at the the little status bar. Yeah, I think it's highly unrealistic that you could just Napoleon never hit tab and just automatically knew how many troops were injured. I like to have some level of realism in the game, and so what I typically do in all battles really is I don't use that feature, right, where you can hit whatever you're playing, console or PC. For the PC, it's the tab button, and it just shows you exactly how many troops you have left and how many enemies killed, and etc. Not only that, to me, it's suspense breaking. It's in battles like this, I don't want to know. Wow, we just wiped out that enemy. Look how far away they are. That was such a devastating round there that the enemy is going to have to recover from a long distance away. I mean, they are a long ways away. Anyways, the point is that sometimes we lose. I tend to upload our losses on the channel, and I want the viewer to understand that these are legit battles. It's not like I lose and just reload because we don't want to lose. But you'll see failure on this channel. You'll see us make mistakes sometimes. I try to own up to my mistakes. That's how you get better, frankly. So this is interesting. Their troops are really divided, and part of the reason is the distance that their reinforcements are coming in. These guys are having to run a 5K race before they can even get to our enemy line. Well, the worst part for them right now is that they're divided. They have a couple 300 troops right here, and they're facing higher level troops, and their troops are divided. You can see in the distance there, they have like 300 or 400 troops that are a long ways away. So we're gonna move in here and massacre these archers. Try to do this with minimal losses. So I'm gonna move guys up in shield wall. I like to follow my cav here. It's like the best shield wall that moves, right? A piece of granite's the best, but heavy cav is the next best thing. And I'm trying to get killed here. I'm gonna do some work. I'm on the flank of the enemy, so I shouldn't take, except this fucker's trying to shoot me. I shouldn't take too many arrows here. Now I'm going to bring my heavy cav back because I sort of want them to help me interrupt these guys while we charge in. You see my infantry is just barreling in. These archers are fucked. The enemy reinforcements are still a little ways off. I got to watch that they're not all of a sudden right in our lap, but we're just going to plow through here. Hopefully I don't get ignominiously killed by some peasant archer. So we film our losses, and I don't give status checks to how the battle's going. You can sort of follow it with the power bar at the top, but that's usually highly inaccurate. It doesn't account for reinforcements and troops that you have left. So another tranche of enemy forces coming in here. I'm going to move these archers up. I have some heavy cav that I'm going to continue to use as a screen. The screen, basically, they're not being used very offensively. A lot of people just cycle charge with cav here. I like to use them as a screen, right? We're going to use them as a flanking protection. They're going to protect these archers as they spread out. And I can also advance them like that. And not only am I safe, but a lot of the archers behind them are safe because those arrows from the enemy are finding these cav units. Right? It's hitting their horses, it's hitting their shields. You can see their pincushion full of arrows. And just like that last battle, we're just pinching in on the enemy here. We're getting a flanking attack with this cav. We're going to send them in even further. And I'm just going to plow in. And look at the withering fucking fire from the flank. These guys are being absolutely destroyed. So again, I'm going to shove my cav just right through these archers. Right, I've got archers kind of in my face here, but the other side is sort of shooting at me. I just point my cav, and they just move through very dutifully. And it's a massacre, right? It's just the enemy is steamrolled. Their archers, most of their archers aren't shooting. Their infantry. No, it's still reforming. They got their shields up. A lot of times in battles where you've had 3 or 4 successive waves like that, where you're just whipping the enemy's ass, they will rout. They will say, fuck this battle, we've had enough. I know I talk about that a lot, but just in case players are watching this that haven't had big battles before, it's important that as you get a feel for battles, you start to understand also sort of the language of the troops, right? There's a real language to human language. They say 93% of human language is nonverbal. What that means, like, you know, the tone of somebody's voice or the way they're holding their arms, that their arms are crossed, that means they're defensive, whatever they're saying. It gives you actual hints to how they're saying it, of course. And the body language of troops, both in real life, of course, and in Bannerlord, tells you a lot. It does seem like they're routing. So speaking of body language, I've got a little test that I do at work. I'm not a bad softball player. I would, in my youth, when I was arrogant, I would say I was a great softball player. We'll say today that I was not a bad softball player. I was pretty decent, and we had a pretty good softball team. Well, one of the things I would do with new employees at the fire station I worked for, motherfucker, is I would throw a guy a water bottle, you know, from 10 feet away, just kind of loft it underhand to him, just toss it gently at him. And I basically was able to, as soon as I met somebody, oftentimes I did this the very first shift, and I was able to judge more or less of whether or not they had any athletic ability or background at all based on that. Now we're going to flank the enemy here because they do look like they want some more action. They're sort of spreading out in a big line. We're going to use this high elevation here to rain down arrows on them. Anytime you can gain an elevational spot on the enemy like this, use it, right? I'm going to be able to get these archers up this hill. They're going to be able to shoot downhill on these archers, and it's going to go very badly for the enemy. Anyway, so what I'm basically doing there with the water bottle toss test is I'm effectively reading the body language of these people. If their eyeballs were huge and they were shocked and terrified, then I was certain that they were either going to be like a catcher or, and if you don't know, like the catcher is basically where you put your least athletic player generally in softball, or I knew that they were just not athletic, right? This is not, I guess I'm making a little bit of fun of people who aren't athletic. I'll try to be nice about it. But the point is that it was the body language alone. I didn't even have to ask these guys, you know, hey, you play softball? Are you athletic? Are you interested? If their eyes got huge, I knew they couldn't play. I knew they weren't going to be playing for us because they can't even catch a little simple plastic water bottle without being terrified. And then you'd get, you know, every 5th guy or 3rd guy or whatever would catch it. And then every once in a while a guy would catch it with one hand and you're like, okay, outfielder. So that long story aside, look at these guys just jamming up the guys for me to just kill them. Thanks, dude. You hold them up, I'll cut them to ribbons. We didn't even really need to flank there. That enemy force was just eviscerated. So body language of Bannerlord, that's the moral of that little side tangent. I'll go into a few of these, especially in these long battles, because there's not that many tactics I can talk about in a 45-minute battle, especially where later in the huge battles it gives you 2 or 3 divisions. Got infantry moving up. I've got 2 different archer corps, but it's basically this one big archer corps. Actually, the other one's not archer corps. Those are horse archers. But I'm going to continue to use this high ridge. Anytime you can position up high like this and the enemy is willing to sit in the valley, take it, right? Their shield walls are become less effective. Your archers are shooting downhill. Those units are getting further away. I don't know if you can see that. Look at this number here. 442. For the bottom number is their distance away. That's 600 guys, which is a lot of troops. They're out of here. They're going to go... those are the guys that the eyes got big, right? They're not playing softball. Those athletes or those non-athletes are out of here. They're not going to fight today. So we've got a handful of the brave archers here. We're going to have to plow through. But these guys, they don't know it yet. Maybe, of course, they're pixels. They don't know anything at all. But if these were real people, they wouldn't have just known that their infantry just totally deserted them and left left these guys for dead, right? The 600 other guys, they're like going to these guys' village and being like, dang, I remember that one archer had a hot girlfriend. I'm going to check in to see if she's available now. Be like, shit, you know, are you available next Friday? I heard you're single suddenly. All right, so the archers are out of here too. This was honestly a battle I did not think I was going to be able to win. Let's fire a few volleys in here. Maybe we'll hit that guy who's hitting on his fucking... Yeah, all right, we got one. This is not a battle I expected to win. This was definitely an extremely lopsided battle, but I had faith that we could do a lot of damage to them. All right, so 800 losses. We only had 800. That's exceptionally good. Again, we could retreat in that situation and just bail out of there. Like even right now, I could retreat. Obviously, they're the ones retreating, and so we're going to capture all their nobles and stuff like that. But that's one of the advantages you have when the enemy's attacking one of your sieges. I tend to be a lot more bold with my attacks because it's not final. If you know, again, if players don't know, and I'd be surprised if people watching this video didn't know, if you're in a siege and they conquer you, if they win, you can't retreat. You're in a siege, right? You're dead. You're captured. Whatever it is, your army's all captured. It's a disaster. They take all your equipment. I'm just kind of riding this out and trying to figure out why isn't this battle officially over yet? But in this case, when you attack somebody else who's in a siege, the idea is that it's kind of like the Rohirrim with the Lord of the Rings, is the best analogy I could get. The Rohirrim could have charged in and did some damage and then realized, oh shit, there's war elephants. We're fucking out of here. I don't want my horse to get stomped by a war elephant. You know, we did some damage. We rode our cavalry in and did some work, but now I'm gonna turn coward and leave. And obviously they would be able to leave because the enemy's occupied with the siege. Right? That's kind of the idea here. That would have been really ironic if I knocked myself unconscious right there. So again, the point is that we got like one little archer left. In moments like this, where you're defending a keep, you can be a lot more bold, because even if you lose, and I've had a few instances, I've filmed a few instances where we just weren't able to take down the attacking force, you can leave, right? You're not captured. You need to make sure you have a decent amount of troops left, right? Because if you try to retreat with 30 guys out of your 300 army, you're probably going to get captured. But if you have 100 or 80 or something like that guys left, you have a decent shot of retreating. Right, you may need to dump equipment or dump some grain or something like that, but you can retreat. All right, I beat that point to death. Dang. This was one of my best group leaders. Achir, I always called him Archer because he had crossbow skills. That's a bummer. We're losing a lot of our family members late in this campaign. Obviously, we're having these titanic bloodbaths battles. Yeah, and we lost another critical one here. As most people are curious, I release all my nobles because I'm trying to make the current campaign I'm in, as hard as possible. I don't need money at this stage. We just have so much excess reserves, and I can, every single town I go to, I can just take all their gold. I can sell all the equipment from the loot from these battles, so we don't need money. You can see I have 15 million. Some people are like, you must be using cheat codes. No, this is an 80-something year campaign. And at this stage, we're fighting a huge battle every other day of game time, right? So we're constantly capturing a huge army, and then look at all this equipment, right? All this loot, and I go make 200,000 like every other day when I sell it to a town. So another successful stand here, so to speak. I call it a stand because they were very late in this campaign. The enemy's really starting to put the pressure on now. The battles are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and harder and harder and harder. It may end tragically. We shall see, folks. So stay tuned. Please tell me what you thought of this big battle. Any of the tactics you're curious about or want to see more about, let me know. I appreciate all you guys. Please subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you friends next time.